Okay. A very good afternoon. Sorry, it's not afternoon yet. So a very good morning to everyone. So can you please, any one of you can respond me whether I'm audible or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute. Okay, can you speak once more because in the earlier one I did not able to hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am.
now I get you. Okay. So as of now, we have studied about the steps following the construction of the structure. What is the participation of the structural engineer? What is the working function of a particular architecture estimator? So we have gone through those things and we have studied something about the structural elements. Okay, so since today we will start understanding the different kind of or different approach of industrial structure. So our syllabus of this steel structure design sessional is about constructing a steel structure. So we will start it from a industrial structure. So let us start. So, a high-rise steel buildings account for very small percentage of the total number of structures that are built around the world. So, what happens? We have, while we were discussing about the structural element, we have discussed so much about the tall buildings, right? But the percentage of tall building construction in all over world is quite less. I mean, you can say in 100 out of 100 building, there must be one building which is considered to be tall. So, and selecting that tall building, selecting the material of that tall building to be steel structure is also, also dependable. Okay. So, the majority of steel structures being built are low-rise buildings. So, the main approach of the steel structures are in the low-rise building. So, in low-rise building, there are several categories like residential buildings. So, we will study this. So, which are generally of one story only. So industrial buildings, a subset of low-rise building are normally used for steel plants, automobile industries, utility, process industries, thermal power station, warehouse, assembly plants, storage, garages, small scale industry, etc. So these are some types of structures which are preferably constructed with the use of steel material. You might have seen so many structures in a Kolkata. So you have seen in the stations. So most of the station shadings are constructed with the application of steel. So if you go to the metro station, or if you go to in say if you go to any junction where or a train car shed where the trains are rested in the place, so those car shed are majorly constructed with the steel structure. Just a minute. So most of those car shed, like so for example, you must have seen in a automobile sector. So in a automobile factories where the sorry where the car, bus, or any kind of automobile vehicles are made. So those kind of structures are quite preferably taken to be as a steel material. So why we choose steel material? Because this is so much easy to construct within a small time. So we can keep, and the other point is we can keep a very huge amount of space which is required in the industrial purpose, and we can also easily deassemble those structural elements. In the place of concrete structure, that is a quite a permanent structure. Okay, so that is a little disadvantage which has been seen in the use of industrial purpose. Okay, so so these buildings, so this is the important one, these buildings require large column free areas. So hence the interior column walls and partitions are often eliminated or kept to a minimum. So the spacing between the columns can be kept. So if this is a steel structure, so you can see the column to column spacing can be kept at its maximum while using a steel structure, which is mostly required in the industrial purpose. So you can enter, you can use a crane over at that top, or you can enter a large spaced vehicle, or a mechanical instrument, whatever. You can utilize this space. But if you would have constructed this structure to be in a concrete using RCC, so you would have that kind of disadvantage of providing this amount of spacing. So you would have to provide another column in between this space to hold this beam, right? So that is why the steel structure is the most favorite structure for industrial purpose, for low rise also. So high-rise building are also constructed with the steel structure. Those are also so in a place of Western countries, in the Arabian countries, most of the tall structures, I mean, almost 80% of tall buildings are constructed with the use of steel. Okay, so we will study about the low rise industrial building. So most of this building may require adequate headroom for the use of an overhead traveling crane. So that is also another requirement for using a steel structure. So we will have a ample amount of headroom, the space at the head. Okay, so in order to use an overhead traveling crane, so we can, so if this is an industrial structure, so we can provide a crane in this way. And say you might have seen this kind of cranes. So I'm just drawing this in a very basic manner. So if this is a crane, so this would be able to carry a heavy, so this would be able to carry a very heavy structure from one place to another place in between this structure. Okay, so in order to construct, or in order to accompany this crane structure, a steel structure is mostly preferable one. Okay, so the structural engineer has to consider the following points during the planning and design of industrial buildings. So as per Fisher, so selection of roofing and wall material, selection of bay width. So bay width, as we have discussed, so if we have discussed it in our earlier class, so if this is a one floor structure, so extending to the horizontal way, if there is another structure, so we would say that to be a first floor two bay structure. So this is one, this is two. So if a structure extended in a horizontal way, so carrying that space is considered to be bay. Okay, so this is one bay, this is two bay. So selection of bay width we have to, so this is a bay width. So next point is selection of structural framing system. So what would be the frame of the structure? So the roof truss, which is very important, we are going to design this roof truss in our study of this sessional. Next point, purlins, grits and sag rods. Next point says bracing system to resist lateral loads. And the next one is the internal thing. I mean the internal part of the structure, which are gantry girder, columns, base plate and foundation. So these are some structural element which has to be concentrate while designing a industrial building. Okay. Okay, so let us come to the next thing. So this is very much familiar. Just a minute. So I hope this is very much familiar to you. So this is a sheet. So you have seen a GI sheet, mean galvanized sheet or asbestos sheet, which is often constructed in this manner, right? So if I could draw this in a tree diagram, so this would be, so the drawing is not in a proper way. So this would be something like that, right? And this would be something like that. So these are some sheet element which are often used for the roof structure, as a roof structure, or it can be also used as a wall structure. So this, in this picture it has been shown as a roof material. See, if this is up, this part, as you are seeing, this inclined part, this is a part of a roof of a truss structure. So this is the inclined part. Okay, so if I extend this diagram, so I am doing this that you can imagine what is the original structure, which part of the structure this is drawn here. So if this is a roof part, right? So this portion is the part of this whole elemental structure which has been shown here. So this is the inclined part. So this is called the top chord of the roof truss. This is the top chord. So see this part, so I will come to that part in your steel structure class as well. So from this diagram, it can be predicted that this structure is a T section. So this structure is a T section. So if I look this structure, if you stand in this place, so you could have seen this structure to be in this manner. So sorry. that. See, this structure is from the side vision. You can see this structure to be in this way. So from this diagram, we can predict that this structure. Just a minute. Yeah. So this structure is a T section. This top chord is constructed as a T section. Okay. So over this T section, this is a purlin. This is called a purlin. So purlin is nothing but a beam structural element. So this purlin is also, so if this T beam is placed in this way, and this purlin would be, so in which way I should show you. So if this roof structure goes in this way, so that purlin will go in this way as well. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So this purlin would go in this way. So this purlin will rest over this T-beam in a perpendicular way. So this purlin is also a part of a beam. This purlin is also a beam structural element. So over this purlin, these sheets are provided. So you have seen in your BBIT food canteen, over that canteen, the sheets are provided in this manner. So that sheet will be provided in the parallel to this actual beam, mean the top chord of the roof truss. So that sheet will be provided over that. So that sheet can be, the material used for this sheet can be used as a galvanized sheet or asbestos sheet. Okay. So the sheet will be provided in this manner. So similarly, if I see this part, this is a flat roof construction. So this is not the inclined part. This roof is flat. So this is extended in this way only. There. Yellow. Okay, this way only. So this flat roof construction over this girder, see, this is a I section. So this is a I section. So this is extended in this way. If we just, this is extended in this way over this flat roof, and this is a, over this, similarly a sheet is provided here. Okay, so this is a, over that sheet of insulating board are often provided. So insulating, the purpose of the function of this insulating board is to insulate the heat or the temperature outside the structure. And this part is the ceiling part. Okay. So these are some diagram of the roof material and the construction mannerism. Okay. Well, so next let us discuss the galvanized iron sheets, which are also called the GI sheet. So galvanized, it can be galvanized with, or it is coated with another kind of chemical compound which can resist the sheet from the corrosion. Okay. So this iron sheet are galvanized. So this has to be strong enough to resist the weathering effect. So the most common sizes of coagulated. So coagulated mean the wave part. So ঢেউ খেলানো in Bengali, which we say. So you have seen this application. So the application of coagulated are often created in the purpose of resisting the force in a maximum. mean शायद तुम लोग देखे होंगे कि जो Amazon, फ्लिपकार्ट या फिर कोई सोशल नेटवर्किंग साइट से तुम जब कुछ ऑर्डर करते हो तो वो ऑर्डर करने का जो पैकेजिंग बॉक्स होता है ना, वो भी कोऑर्डिनेटेड बॉक्स ही होता है. मतलब कि उस बॉक्स को अगर बीच में से तुम टीयर करो, उसको फाड़ो, तो वो अंदर का जो ये पार्ट ऐसे दिखाई देगा. तो ऐसे कोऑर्डिनेटेड रखने का पर्पस क्या होता है? ताकि अंदर का जो चीज अगर वो बॉक्स कहीं हाथ से गिर जाए या एक्सीडेंटली कुछ हो जाए, तो ये जो अंदर का जो यहाँ पे हवा रहता है, द एयर कंटेंट इन बिटवीन दिस कोऑर्डिनेटेड पार्ट कैन बी एबल टू डैम्प. मीन ये एयर का जो पार्ट होता है, ये बीच में जो एयर रहता है ना, ये वो फोर्स को जो फोर्स अंदर की चीज को डैमेज कर सकता है गिरने के वजह से, उस फोर्स को डैम्पेन आउट कर सकता है. तो वो एक सॉफ्ट बेस के तरह भी एक्ट करता है. और ये जो शीट रूफ ट्रस में प्रोवाइड किया जाता है, इसका पर्पस और भी बहुत सारी है. क्योंकि जो पैकेट तुम लोग देखते हो, वो पैकेट के ऊपर एक लेयर रहता है ऐसे और ऐसे, ताकि ये बीच का जगह ये खाली रहे और अगर कोई भी एक्सीडेंटल केस हो तो वो फोर्स को डैम्पेन आउट कर सके. पर ये रूफ शीटिंग के जगह पे इसका पर्पस थोड़ा अलग है. क्योंकि अगर उसको तुम ऐसे प्रोवाइड करोगे तो ये क्या करता है, दिस इज अ रूफ स्ट्रक्चर, राइट? सो द मोस्ट devastated and the most worst condition of weathering would come onto this roof, right? तो रूफ के ऊपर ही सबसे ज्यादा जो विंड का गस्ट या फिर वेदरिंग का जो वर्स्ट सिनेरियो, वो रूफ के ऊपर ही आता है. तो अगर इसका अलाइनमेंट ऐसे वेव फॉर्म में रहे, ऐसे वेव फॉर्म में रहेगा, तो वो ज्यादा से ज्यादा उस एयर का जो स्ट्राइक है, उस स्ट्राइक को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर देगा. किसी एक पैनल के ऊपर या फिर किसी एक लाइन के ऊपर ही ज्यादा से ज्यादा फोर्स नहीं रख पाएगा, ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर देगा. इसी वजह से ये रूफ ट्रस को ऐसे कोऑर्डिनेटेड रखा जाता है ज्यादातर. ओके, सी इन द फर्स्ट पार्ट इट हैज सेड दैट 8 coagulation in bracket 75 millimeter wide and 19 millimeter deep per sheet. तो ये जो कोऑर्डिनेटेड शीट होता है ना, ये अलग अलग एक यूनिट फॉर्म से बनता है. तो हर एक शीट का जो स्पेसिफिकेशन है वो ये है. तो कोई शीट जो है ये 8 कोऑर्डिनेशन मतलब कि 8 वेव्स होगा. मतलब 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. वो मैं अभी यहाँ पे ड्रॉ नहीं की, तो इसको ऐसे भी एक्सटेंड कर सकती हूँ. तो एक जो यूनिट शीट आता है, तुम जब दुकान में जाओगे तो तुमको जब एक यूनिट शीट मिलेगा, तो वो ये 8 कोऑर्डिनेटेड वेव से तुमको खरीदना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो दिस इज अ 8 कोऑर्डिनेशन शीट 75 मिलीमीटर वाइड. अब 75 मिलीमीटर वाइड मीन, इसको मैं यहां से थोड़ा जूम करके ड्रॉ करती हूँ से. ओके, तो मैं एक सेगमेंट यहां पे ड्रॉ कर रही हूं. तो 75 मिलीमीटर वाइड मीन ऑलमोस्ट 7.5 सेंटीमीटर. मीन तुम्हारा जो पेंसिल बॉक्स का जो छोटा स्केल होता है ना, उसका हाफ. जो छोटा स्केल एक बनता है तुम्हारे जो पेंसिल बॉक्स में, उस स्केल का जो हाफ डायमेंशन है वो होगा इसका विड्थ. ओके, एंड 19 मिलीमीटर डीप. मतलब कि ये जो डीप होगा, ये मतलब ड्राइंग वाइज ये थोड़ा गलत ड्राइंग किया हुआ है, जो कि डीप थोड़ा कम है. दिस इज 19, this is 75. So that would be something like that. This would be the proper diagram explaining this category of sheet. तो ये होगा 75 मिलीमीटर, सॉरी ये होगा 75 मिलीमीटर और ये होगा 19 मिलीमीटर. ओके, मतलब के 1.9 सेंटीमीटर, मतलब कि तुम्हारे उंगली का एक जो भाग है उस ऑलमोस्ट उसकी डायमेंशन का. तो ये होगा डीप पर शीट. तो ऐसे ही ये एक यूनिट शीट हमारे इंडस्ट्रियल अप्रोच में मतलब खरीदा या बिक्री किया जाता है. So section B, these are also another category of coagulation sheet which are vastly used in a industrial purpose. So in per sheet यहाँ पे देखो 10 से 11 coagulation रहता है, मतलब ये वेवी फॉर्म 10 से 11 रहता है, जिसका विद 75 सेम रहता है और 19 मिलीमीटर डीप रहता है. मतलब दोनों शीट, एक शीट 8 पे रहता, 8 कोआगुलेशन का भी मिलता है और एक दूसरे टाइप का शीट जो कि 10 से 11 कोआगुलेशन का रहता है. ओके, नाउ द अवेलेबल साइजेस ऑफ शीट आर एज फॉलोज. तो अब ये तो रहा ये वाला स्पेसिफिकेशन. अब देखेंगे इस लेंथ का, ये लेंथ का कितना मिलता है. ऑलमोस्ट ये लेंथ का मिलता है 1.8, 2.2, 2.5, 2.8, 3 मीटर. मतलब मैक्सिमम टू मैक्सिमम 3 मीटर का ये टोटल लेंथ रहता है. ओके, एंड विथ आर गिवन सिमिलरली 0.75 मीटर एंड 0.9 मीटर. द थिकनेस, सी थिकनेस मतलब ये जो शीट रहेगा, ये जो शीट रहेगा, ये शीट का ये थिकनेस. ओके, तो ये थिकनेस कैसे कैसे वेरी करते हैं देखते हैं. 0.63 बनाया जाता है, 0.8, 1, 1.25, 1.6 मिलीमीटर. मतलब के 1 सेंटीमीटर का ऑलमोस्ट एक भाग या फिर उससे 1/4 या फिर उससे 0.6 ज्यादा वो थिकनेस रहता है. मैक्सिमम 1.6 मिलीमीटर गैल्वेनाइज शीट मिलता है थिकनेस का. वो तुम्हारा एज पर एप्लीकेशन तुम खरीदोगे, ये सब जो स्पेसिफिकेशन तुम जब दुकान में जाओगे ये खरीदने, ये सब स्पेसिफिकेशन तुम्हें बताना पड़ेगा, उस हिसाब से तुमको वो चीज देंगे. ठीक है. अच्छा, द वेट्स ऑफ द शीट वेरी फ्रॉम 50 टू 156 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वायर. अब इसको अज्यूम करो कि ये जो शीट मिलता है ये 8 कोआगुलेशन विद दिस स्पेसिफिकेशन or 10 or 11 coagulation with this specification along with the length of 1.8 to 3 meter. ये जो वेरिएशन ऑफ जीआई शीट रहता है उसका वेट वेरी होता है 50 to 156 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वायर. अब इसको अगर एक अच्छे से एग्जाम्पल से मैं बताऊं तो ये ऑलमोस्ट होता है 50 इंटू 101.9. मतलब के ऑलमोस्ट तुम 100 ही ले लो. ओके, मतलब 50,000 ऑफ ग्राम, मतलब के ऑलमोस्ट कितना केजी. एनीवन, हाउ मच ऑफ केजी इट विल बी. कोई बताओ 50,000 ग्राम में कितना केजी होगा. एनीवन. এবার খুব বকা পড়বে, গ্রাম থেকে কেজিতে কনভার্ট হচ্ছে না. none of you can give that answer.
কত ম্যাম, কত গ্রাম?
50,000 গ্রামকে কেজিতে. এই তো আমি দেখিয়েছি. ও সব কটার বিশাল বকা পড়বে।
50
হাজার
কেজি
গ্রামে 1 কেজি, তাহলে 50,000 ডিভাইডেড বাই 1000, it will be
50.
50, so it will be 50 kg. ओके, तार माने अगर तुम देखोगे कि यहाँ पे ऑलमोस्ट 50 केजी टू 156 केजी पर मीटर स्क्वायर, पर मीटर स्क्वायर मतलब कि तुम्हारा एक हाथ का जो स्पैन होता है ना, ऑलमोस्ट अब वो हाइट टू हाइट वेरी करेगा, मतलब ये अच्छा एग्जाम्पल नहीं है टू गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ 1 मीटर, मतलब कि ये एक जो बड़ा स्केल होता है, उस स्केल को अगर 3 लंबा बड़ा स्केल ले लो, उसके साथ और 10 सेंटीमीटर ऐड कर दो तो वो ऑलमोस्ट 1 मीटर रहता है। तो 1 मीटर इंटू 1 मीटर मतलब कि ये 1 मीटर और ये 1 मीटर, ये 1 मीटर क्रॉस सेक्शन में हमारा 50 टू 156 न्यूटन वेट रहता है, या फिर हमारा कितना केजी आया, कितना केजी आया, কি হলো, तो हमारे यहां पे क्या होगा कि ऑलमोस्ट 50 टू 156 न्यूटन पर मीटर स्क्वायर वेट एक एक शीट का होता है, ठीक है। व्हेन द शीट्स आर इंस्टॉल्ड, साइड लैप्स एंड एंड लैप्स शुड बी प्रोवाइडेड टू मेक द जॉइंट वाटरप्रूफ। अब ये वाटरप्रूफिंग करने के लिए इसका अलाइनमेंट थोड़ा अलग ढंग से दिया जाता है। तो वो कैसे किया जाता है, देखो यहाँ पे ये डायग्राम दिया है, सी this sheet are to be provided in this manner, so this overlapping, so see the sheet over this blue sheet, that black sheet has been provided, so that overlapping of this black sheet and this blue sheet is called end lap। मतलब कि शीट का जो एंड है वो तो ये पार्ट है, और इस शीट का एंड पार्ट भी ये पार्ट है, तो ये एंड और दूसरे पैनल के एक एंड और पहले पैनल के दूसरे एंड जो जब ओवरलैप होता है तो उसको एंड लैप बोलते हैं। और साइड लैप मतलब के कोई दूसरे शीट का साइड पार्ट तो ये वाला होता है, तो उसके साइड पार्ट और दूसरे शीट का जो अलग साइड पार्ट होता है वो ओवरलैप करेंगे, तो ये होगा साइड लैप। तो ये है साइड लैप और ये है एंड लैप, ओके। तो ये लैपिंग कितना होता है, फॉर रूफ द साइड ओवरलैप इज 1/2 to 2 coagulations एंड एंड ओवरलैप इज 150 मिलीमीटर। मीन ये साइड लैप में ऑलमोस्ट सी यहाँ पे कितना ओवरलैप हुआ है, 1 and 1/2, मतलब 1/2 to 2 ओवरलैप साइड लैप में दिया जाता है। और एंड लैप में कितना, ये स्पेसिंग, ये जो लैपिंग होता है ये ऑलमोस्ट 150 मिलीमीटर प्रोवाइड किया जाता है इन ऑर्डर टू प्रोवाइड अ जॉइंट वाटरप्रूफ, ओके। ये वाटरप्रूफिंग पर्पस के लिए। Okay, so this is a typical diagram of a roof truss with proper elements which has been given. See, this is a sheet provided over the rooftop. So this is called the profiled steel roof cladding. So profiled mean due to this coagulation, this is called the profiled steel roof cladding. So this extended part which are rested over this beam, so this part is called the roof cladding, okay. And this is called the roof bracing. See, this bracing is provided, and this beams are called purlins. Over this beam, this sheet are rested, so that the weight of that sheet would come over these individual purlins. And see, this is the wall cladding, which I have mentioned earlier that these sheet are often provided as a wall also. So this is called the wall cladding. This is a longitudinal bracing. See, sorry, this is a longitudinal bracing, and this is the side rail. See, this is the side rail provided, and the primary steel frame. So the what are the primary steel frame of this structure? This is that. Sorry for the bad drawing. So this is the primary steel frame of the structure. After that, all the longitudinal bracing, side rail, purlin are provided onto the roof truss. So this is some structural element you need to know before designing a roof truss. Okay. So do you have any problem until now? You can ask me. Anyone? Anyone have any problem?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
ওকে আচ্ছা, তোমাদের যেটা আমি জিজ্ঞেস করলাম এখানে ওয়েটটা, এই ওয়েটটা কিন্তু তোমরা বললে না যে এটা নিউটন থেকে যদি আমি কেজিতে কনভার্জন করি তাহলে কত হবে? What will be the conversion? 50 Newton mean it is almost equivalent to 5 kilogram. And 156 mean almost 15.6 kilogram. Okay, so make it clear. So this is 5 kilogram, this is 15.6 kilogram. So in within per meter square, the area of this sheet would vary from 5 kilo to 15.6 kilogram as per these specification. Okay, so okay, so we will continue this class and the other specification of the roof truss in our next class. Okay, so please just wait. Let me just call your name for the attendance one by one, and after hearing your name, you can leave the video class. Okay. Okay. First, Shotyajit Manna, Ankush Pal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anupama Talukdar. Sandipon
ma'am.
Bishwas, yes. Saurabh Roy, Raka Das, Shayon
Present,
Dev,
ma'am.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Akash Sen, Premangshu Noshkar, Khushbu Harijan. Did I miss anyone? I hope not. So, okay, see you in the next sessional class.